leadership that we try to give to our countries. Let me just start off first by saying I'm not Margaret Thatcher. Sometimes get called by the same statement she has about being the Iron Lady, but it's for something quite different for many years of fiscal discipline, more than anything else. So, let me thank the person who talked about the project for women. I think that's a sanitation project that was just recently approved. It's not been a very needed intervention, but it also gives support for our very strong mayor, who's always on the attack because of a strong position and a strong leadership role. But we thank you for that project. What would I do differently? In the initial year of my leadership, I probably should have stuck with the decision to fire everybody, as I said. But I relented on the basis of, the shown that people are unemployed, you can't take jobs away from people who have mouths to feed and all of that. But I didn't realize the entrenched nature of impropriety and corruption and whatnot. Perhaps those strong measures would have sent a stronger signal, because the longer you wait, the more difficult it is to stem those practices. So, what advice would I give to other leaders, existing or potential? In the African context, I think we could do more to have common positions, particularly on the exploitation of our natural resources. Many of us, particularly in West Africa, are resource rich, natural resource rich. And we all are carrying out our individual, national consultations, negotiations, arrangements and whatnot without fully benefiting from the experience or the position of others. I think we would make a much more effective use if we had a common position where we say we're not going, for example, to do bartering. We're not going to do a mines for a road. And that's going to be a common position across. Or if we're going to have participation and national equity, or agree that we're not going to sign an agreement unless there's a 20%, 40% national ownership on local content, and that's a common position. So most times investors would come, and if they come to negotiate, they find my terms are a bit more difficult, and they can get better terms, maybe in Sierra Leone or Cameroon. The investment moves over. Yes, competition is important, and you will never be able to take that out of our system. I mean, we can have cartels and all of that. We shouldn't do it. But at the same time, there's some things in place, because we all have the same natural resources, and we all have the dearth of infrastructure that enables us to integrate, that some of those common positions may force the integration route. So, again, I think we all could do better in how we allocate our resources. efficiency in allocation, the use. We established as our priorities. We all try, but there's room for improvement in all of us. So we can all look at the experience and use best practices in a much better manner. Some countries are transforming much faster than others. So what are the elements of their policies and decisions that have caused this acceleration? I think we all should do more to learn from that and to see if we can again adopt synchronized positions in what we do. We have tried to adopt measures to respond to violence against women. We have a special court for violence. We have special units in our Ministry of Justice, in our gender ministry. We've made rape an unbailable offense. We have safe houses around, and so we've taken all those measures, but we still don't have the full effectiveness that we want, simply because the courts still are dominated by men who don't see the severity, of some things. So you have to keep trying to change the mindset and the culture to make it perceived as truly a crime against humanity. Land ownership for us has now improved. Women have access to land fully. So that for us now, the ability to make the land productive is quite different because women do not have as easy access to credit, to technology, as men would, particularly if they're operating as head of the family, single woman doing that without the support of husbands. That is a bit more difficult, and we would have to have targeted programs for them, and that's coming through some of our. In fact, we're looking forward to the startup of implementation of the African Development Bank supported smallholders agriculture, because the target on that will be women, because it's the women who are actually working the farms. And so that should help to make a big difference.